Hello, welcome to Why Wait Till Sunday. I'm here with Felix Sharpe, my partner in crime over at campustocanton.com, our website we just started, and that's new home of Why Wait Till Sunday. After a brief respite in the mountains of North Carolina, I am now back and ready to rock. Glad to have you on with me. We're going to take a look at some of your favorite players tonight, aren't we?
You know how hard it is to get on this show, Alfred? I mean, this is like the Johnny Carson show. I've made it. Matt Bruning has not made it. I've been on Why Wait Till Sunday. So this is awesome. I think I'm going to be on like live podcast for the next 2.5 hours. So this is great.
Yeah, actually, I am too, because after this, I'm going to be a guest on Bruce Madsen's Perfect Cast, so that should be fun. But I'm glad we're squeezing in here a little film review of a guy you love, and then a guy I love, and then a third player who's very interesting. But tell the viewers a little bit about Jake Haener as I get set up here with the game. We're going to watch Fresno State with an eye on all the Bulldog offensive pieces against Utah State, it was an explosive game. They scored like 5 touchdowns. Haener had 4 touchdowns. Jalen Cropper, their wide receiver, who had about 3 touchdowns. And then Ronnie Rivers got in the zone too. He's a very interesting player. But talk to us, everyone, about Jake Haener. I know you're chomping at the bit.
I'm a big Jake Haener fan. He's aggressive. He's mobile. He's talented. And he puts up stats. And his value is outstanding. In Campus to Canton leagues, he was getting drafted in the 42nd round before I did all my talking about him. Talk about Fresno State overall. You want to talk about a team like, Boise State has been the last couple of seasons, a team that could upset, a team that could make it to a New Year's Six bowl, and everybody's like, oh, snap, Fresno State just upset so-and-so. That's what Fresno State is between Jake Haener, Jalen Cropper, and Ronnie Rivers, who is the son of Ron Rivers, longtime backup of one Barry Sanders. So this is one of my favorite teams. I live on the Eastern time zone, which is the best time zone, at least in this country.
Of course.
And you need to have a reason to stay up for these games that start at 10 p.m. Eastern. And Fresno State is going to be that reason this year. They're going to be a team that puts up 40 points a game. They're exciting. They've got weapons all over the place. And this was a great game, this Utah State game. So I'm glad to be here watching it with you.
Yeah, a huge game for the offense. I definitely, for this purpose, I definitely cherry picked one of the more fun games, so we'd have plenty to watch. But it's not highlights. We'll look at every play that we can get to. We have about 40 minutes or so before I know we both need to go. But yeah, you talked about Jake Haener. He's a super exciting player. I think he's going to be a 4th or 5th year player next year. Originally committed to Washington and transferred to Fresno State. And the whole Fresno, all of the Mountain West had an abbreviated season last year, but Fresno only played 6 games, so about half of a normal season of 12. And Haener looked pretty good. But you know what? Ronnie Rivers is an elite college side campus to Canton player. Probably should be a 1st-round pick, no later than the 2nd round, just for the college production. Tons of receptions, going to have well over 1,000 total yards. And I'm very curious as we watch this to get your thoughts on his potential pro potential. I think he's got day 3 in the range of outcomes for him. And then, once you get drafted, you never know. I really, really like Ronnie Rivers. Like you said, he's got NFL bloodlines, and he just looks excellent in all phases of the game. As a running back, he can catch, he can tote in the middle of the tackles and everything as well. And then we have the super sleeper, Jalen Cropper, who was on pace for 1,000 yards last year as a true sophomore for the Bulldogs. And I didn't think anybody knew about him. He's kind of been on my radar because he did break out, by the metrics last year in the shortened season. But he was just taken, I think, in the 5th round of a college-only fantasy mock draft that I'm in. And I was so pissed when he got taken because I thought for sure like I could get him like way later than that. But I guess that mock is a little sharper than I wanted to give them credit for. So he's not completely off everyone's radar, but I think most people watching this are going to be surprised as to what Jalen Cropper can bring to the table. So let's just get going. I'm going to go ahead and start. There's your man Haener right there, number 9, looking good. And we'll, this is not cropped. This is just the straight game. So Ronnie Rivers is number 20 right there. So you want to keep your eye on Ronnie Rivers, number 20, Haener, number 9, and Cropper, I believe, is number 5. And so we'll try to keep track of those guys in particular.
Ronnie Rivers is an excellent pass catching back. He lacks elusivity. Okay. He can get into the open field and doesn't really find a way to break tackles, but very natural pass catcher, kind of a good all-around player. But he has an issue breaking tackles. So if you hear some Austin Eckler comps come this time next year, that's not accurate. I think Kendrick Whitfall, he's going to come back next year, number 1 there as a 5th or 6th year senior under the rules. So this entire offense is coming back. It's going to be a good time.
It's definitely
see Jake Haener started on the.
Oh boy!
You see him start on the left there.
Yeah.
And come back to his second or third?
I mean, right here. Yeah, he's looking at Whitfall.
He's looking at Whitfall. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then, nope, not there. Scans the field, boom, and now I think this down here is Cropper, and so he's
got to out and up.
He's gonna like what he sees with Cropper. Gets open. Look at that pat. I mean, that's a nice placement.
Man, somebody
right
tell
there.
Austin Nace that Jake Haener can play football. I mean, look at that.
I mean,
throw.
that's a gorgeous pass. Am I getting too excited? Like, that's a gorgeous pass.
I'm trying to tell people, man. I'm trying to tell people
that is a tight spiral dime to the sideline on his
went
second
through his
read.
progressions. Second or third read because he might have been looking at the hitch and then went to the out and up.
That is the guy I've looked at most on Fresno is Ronnie Rivers. So I'm excited to see a little more of Haener tonight. I know you've watched him more extensively. He was my sleeper Saturday a couple weeks ago. So he's definitely on my radar, but this will be, I mean, that pass, I know it's just one play, but that was nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know none of this is
going to be a very productive offense. Very productive offense.
Oh, it's going to be super sneaky, both in DFS when they're on the field, in the slates, and then, for sure. And on the college side of Campus to Canton, I mean, invest in Fresno State. Here's Cropper on the end around. Nothing too special.
It's going to be a team that you can wait unless you listen to this. Listen to me, listen to kind of the Campus to Canton family of podcasts. In Campus to Canton leagues, you're going to be able to get these guys after the 35th round, and you could probably start all of them, and maybe except for Cropper.
I don't know. He was on pace for. Oh, you mean you think he won't be able to?
I'm saying maybe he'll be valued a little bit more highly, but like I said, people have DM'd me. Haener was going late after the 40th. Ronnie Rivers is going to go late because people don't see him as having an NFL potential. And I think you can start Haener, Cropper, and Rivers. Rivers is a potential RB1. And Cropper is going to be a wide receiver, a potential wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 1 in Campus to Canton leagues. And you can do worse than Jake Haener. So the greatest thing about these teams that play on the West Coast is that you go to bed down and you wake up and you've won by 20, 30 points because Jake Haener absolutely went off in the game.
Woo!
Whitfall.
Kind of picked me. I don't know what that was. It was a free play. He knew there was a flag. They were offsides. You're right. And, we like to celebrate the Eastern time zone, but sometimes this Western times or the Pacific time zone has some hidden gems because, they don't get as much publicity out there.
Thing you notice with Jake Haener is he is constantly moving his head around, moving his eyes around, going to different reads. He did
it again. Same play.
Look at the air he put up on that ball.
And he put it in the same exact spot.
For his receiver to get on. There's another game, I think it's against Colorado State, where Haener has a guard gets beat immediately, and he's got like a defensive tackle in his face near the red zone. And there are 3 defenders around this wide receiver, and he puts it in the right corner of the end zone where only he can get it. It's one of the prettiest passes you'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely
doesn't think he can play. Austin Nace doesn't think he can play.
Austin Nace is a little mad that he doesn't like how old he is, but I'm not that worried about that as a quarterback.
I'm not worried about that either. This pass right here, the wide receiver's got to get his feet down.
I don't know if I love. I will say I'm trying to be, critical and fair, and not just oogle over Jake Haener. Is this to you like should he have kind of stepped up a little bit more? Instead, he looks like he's kind of almost a lazy. He's got this guy coming, and it's kind of he doesn't really step into the pass that much. He's kind of
he hitched to throw. So, that's had something to do with his mechanics there. I don't really have a problem with his mechanics, though.
The ball was placed fine. So, the end result was fine.
Yeah, he pump faked there. So,
here we go.
The mechanics have to be really bad for me to have a problem with it. You want to see bad mechanics, go look at Tulane's true freshman who started.
Oh, I've heard about him. I haven't looked too much. Platt or something?
Yes. Good young freshman player. He got a strong arm. He needs to improve on his mechanics.
I think we got Cropper in the slot over here. Man, they're offsides every play. It's ridiculous. 3 yards. I would be offsides trying to rattle Jake Haener.
He can throw on the move.
Yeah, not the greatest decision. He thought his arm was better than it is maybe there. He was falling away. He thought he was throwing to Cropper.
He can still do some of the shortstop stuff. He didn't do it well there, but he can still just do some of that.
That is what it is.
Different arm angle stuff.
He's falling away again. He thinks he can just rifle this into the Cropper, and he's right there. I get he may have thought this guy was going to come up to 80, whoever this is. Instead, he's able to drop back and
just a bad decision.
Yeah. All right, some good and some bad. I wasn't expecting to see Patrick Mahomes out here, so we're going to see some less than perfect stuff, I'm sure. But that's a tough. You probably shouldn't attempt that throw falling away.
He just didn't see the defender back there. He just didn't see him.
Yeah. All right, so now we got to skip forward because we're not watching any Utah State. Here we go, 1st and 10. And Rivers is like a bell cow. You won't see hardly any plays with River on the sideline. So for your college side, he hasn't shown that much yet. But even though he's fairly undersized for a pro prospect, he's a bell cow on the college side.
For as small as he is, you want him to be dynamic in space, and I just don't know that he is. Just don't know that he is. You're seeing Jake Haener. He's on the move here, going to his throwing side, and you can see that he doesn't lose any velocity on the ball when he's off platform.
That's where you want to throw that ball.
Yeah,
that's about perfect placement on the run, down and away. On a curl. Boom. Yep, not going to get picked. Safe placement. Only your guy can get it. That's nice. With a nice.
Speaking of which, Jake Haener threw 14 touchdowns and 5 interceptions this season.
Yeah, in half a season. So what's that? 28 and 10. If something like that.
As a first-time starter, first-year starter.
Right.
Not being able to start at Washington.
Which, I don't know if he's worse than Jacob Eason.
I don't think so.
They brought Eason in and they definitely wanted to start him, but
what was Eason?
I never saw Eason do anything special.
Right.
This is their backup after I just said Ronnie Rivers never comes off the field.
One thing to pay attention to with Rivers is how does he do in space?
Yeah.
And that's, one thing that I pay attention to with him. That's his biggest weakness. He's going to be, probably close to 200 pounds, 5'8", 5'9", 200, 205, something like that. You want that type of player in addition to being, a good pass catcher. You want them to be dynamic in space. And I'm not sure that Ronnie Rivers is. That's the one flaw in his game.
I think he has single moves and I think he can be, put one juke on a guy, but yeah, I don't think he's got overall hyper athleticism or, the like you're saying, the tremendous ability to make guys miss. But I've seen him put, single moves on a guy, make one guy maybe, but he also doesn't have super long speed. he can do it if it's wide open, but he's not going to, break angles to the sideline and stuff. Here's Cropper.
And then with that pass, the pass before that to the tight end, you don't have to go back, but the pass before that to the tight end, you see another kind of sidearm, lower angle arm action. And he's just Jake Haener is just a versatile player, versatile, competent quarterback. I mean, football is not really that hard. Make good decisions, have enough arm strength, have the size to play the position. I'm not telling people that he's a first-round draft pick, but we've seen players like Andy Dalton, Derek Carr, that type of player be taken in the second round and have success.
Yeah. And I think
especially at his value. That's the biggest thing with Jake Haener's value. If you aren't listening to me or the Campus to Canton guys talk about him, he might just go undrafted in your leagues.
I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go look at my spreadsheet. I'm not going to do it right now because that's not great content, but I wrote down all the waiver wire guys I'm targeting in the program, which is a super deep, sharp players, Campus to Canton. I'm not 100% sure Haener is rostered. So, I'm going to be getting it. I'm going to be fighting you for him, I'm sure, because I think you just joined that league this year. So yeah, I mean, he's available either last round in a startup, and he's probably on a lot of waivers because he was nothing coming into the season.
It's just a matter of how high his ceiling is.
Yeah, I mean, he was nothing coming into the season, and then they had the shortened COVID season, so like he was okay, but his raw stats weren't amazing unless
they started late. They started after everybody.
So I bet he is not rostered in a heck of a lot of Campus to Canton, even on the campus side. Even in 2QB Superflex. I mean, he's probably not rostered. You can go get this guy.
Speaking of which, I think in Campus to Canton, we need to start going triple flex. What do you think about that, Alfred?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people to choose from that,
on the college side.
even going 2QB is not difficult to start two good QBs. So, I mean, if you want to make it challenging, then yeah. I mean, the only reason to value QBs on the college side is in Campus to Canton because you want them to carry over to the NFL side, and there's only a handful of NFL. But if you're just worried about college production, it doesn't matter.
Everybody's got a gimmick. Everybody's got a gimmick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the college.
Here, looks like.
Woo! Jalen.
He's going to score here, but just look, if you look at Haener making a good decision again off platform, out of the pocket.
Let's see if we can get the whole. Maybe they'll give us the all 22 after the kick, or are they just going to give that replay? Okay. I think this is it.
There we go.
So he's scrambling around trying to find a little opening, and then obviously he knows he's got all day. I mean, this is broke. I don't know. This is like the zone. What's this guy doing? I mean, who knows what this guy's doing? So this is wide open. He's got all day, plenty of time. It is behind him, but he knows he doesn't have to, rifle it in there. He's got all day to throw that ball.
He's a really good improviser for this caliber of quarterback. I don't think that you often see.
We'll see it in real time.
I don't think that you often see somebody this talented playing at this level. I think oftentimes that they're going to be at a Power 5 school, and he was at a Power 5 school. In fairness.
Yeah.
So. Did he win an Elite 11 competition, or he was an Elite 11
in the
finalist?
Elite 11. He didn't win it, but he was a member of the Elite 11 for his year.
I think if Jake Haener was like 6'3", people got an issue with like size and stuff. If Jake Haener was 6'3", people would be like, "Oh, he's great." But he's a 6'1", he's a smaller quarterback. But you look at his pocket mobility, his ability to improvise, throw from different arm angles. You see him being aggressive here. He's got a really good touchdown to interception ratio. I don't know why Austin Nace hates Jake Haener, but
he really hates that he's a fourth-year player. That's what he really hates. But
I mean, he didn't get a chance to start.
I mean, that's nothing that special, but it's kind of nifty. And I like that as he goes up in the pocket, his eyes are up, and he pump fakes. I think he's not giving up on a play. He's still thinking, what can I do? Can I find anything? Obviously, he ends up just getting a 2-yard little scramble, but those little plays show me something that he's processing, even though he felt like he had to run.
The funny thing is, I think he shows more elusiveness in the pocket when the pocket is bearing down on him than he does as a true rusher, because he's not really a dual threat quarterback.
Oh, should that have been caught?
I think it was a little far there.
Oh boy, gosh, that would have been. He could have dove for it though.
That throw bothers me a little bit because we've seen Jake put air under the ball in other situations, and he couldn't hear, or he either couldn't or he didn't. And if he couldn't, that means that he had to. It kind of tested his arm strength, and he just didn't have enough to put that arc under it. That was about 40, 50 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, because it landed right around the 50.
See, I mean, you see the pocket bearing down on him getting out of there. I mean, that's just a great throw. It's not complete, but
I'd love to see
that.
Yeah, I'd love to see
in the NFL. People are coming down with that. Going to his right again along the sideline.
I feel like I think so. I don't know if it would have been out of bounds regardless, but I'd love to see if they show that kind of a sideline cam so we could really see it, but I don't know if they will. Probably not. All right. Let's keep it going. Here we go. 1st and 10. This must be after a punt. Cropper's in the slot. So he plays a lot of slot, but on the college side, he's going to rack up tons of yards next year for sure. And I kind of like him. I mean, he broke out as a sophomore. That's something, even though it's a G5 team.
See, kind of the same thing. I mean, he completes this pass, but there's not as much air. Come on,
dude,
get to the end zone.
Jeez, yeah,
not as much air on it.
Lollygagging.
Can you rewind that one?
Yeah,
Alfred.
Yeah. Do you think
it's an on-target pass?
Is it arm strength issue, or is it just floating on him? I mean, the placement is perfect, but did that hang a little for you?
It's the trajectory of the ball is kind of leading me to believe that sometimes. I mean, it's a perfect pass, it's there, but
see,
a little flat throw.
Okay, I think it's interesting to see. He gets down in this stance and he does the pump fake, and he's really crouched, and I just wonder if he doesn't quite get back all the way up. To really drive the ball, because it's. So you think it's too flat though? You'd like to see it higher?
I mean, I'm not going to criticize a dude for throwing a touchdown pass. I'm just saying it's just something to watch for on some of the deeper passes. Especially he had Cropper wide open earlier, and that pass was flat. And Cropper was wide open. He should have absolutely put it out in front of him and put a whole bunch of arc on it, because he was wide open. This one here, I mean, the safety's right there. So arguably he has to put that a little bit flatter to get in that turkey hole. But it's just something. It's something to take a note of and to watch in other games and to watch this season. Is when he gets someone deep, how comfortable is he putting it out there with arc on the ball, or is he throwing a flat ball to a wide open receiver? This guy's not wide open.
No, and I wonder, from the other angle, like, it is just deep enough that this guy couldn't get to it. It's really a perfect pass, I think. If he throws it out here, I don't know if his guy can get to it, which would have been, fully over the head of the safety. But if the other angle, you can really see it. It's like 2 inches, just far enough to be over the head of the safety. But if he throws it out here, I'm not sure he gets to it, and so it's just enough. So it really is, pretty perfect. But maybe, does an NFL safety knock that down? Probably. And then he just lollygags to the end zone. All right, what is this? 4th and goal? Oh, he's kicking. This is Utah State. All right. Rivers. Oh, we have a big play from Rivers, I guess. All right, here we go. 1st and 10. Haener, 5 wide shotgun. Nice quick release.
Again, and you have Ronnie Rivers lined up outside the numbers there, outside, and then coming in on a slant. He's just that's his best trait, is being a pass catcher. He's a very natural pass catcher.
Yeah, they're just feeding him. I mean, this is that 2-minute warning stuff. We just feed that running back. I think Rivers, he may not be a fantasy star. I could see him being like a 10-year NFL backup. Like he's just always on a team, competent, can fill in a pinch, can give you some pass catching. I think he's an NFL guy just because he's, like you said, I mean, he's just competent at many things, even if he's not a star. I don't know who that is. That's tight end.
I think Rivers is going to end up being, day 3 or a UDFA. I mean, you show some elucidity nice there.
Yeah, there's something for you. But again, that's the most of what I see from him. Like, he doesn't string together multiple moves, but he can do one. He can give you a juke and then accelerate, and he accelerates enough that 21 can't get to him. Some guys might be tripped up, but he does accelerate just enough that 21 can't get to him after the juke.
And he's one of those guys. I mean, he's probably put together multiple seasons with like 30-plus catches.
Oh, yeah. I could check. I don't want to break the share screen, but I could look it up real quick because he's had tons of receptions in his career. All right, let's find the next. We're in the 3rd quarter now, so here comes Haener. Oh,
yeah, he's been at 20, 26, 43, and then 27 last year. So,
in 6 games would have been over 50 catches in a full season probably. So, tons of receptions. I mean, for DFS purposes, if Fresno State's on the slate, you have to roster Ronnie Rivers. Like, with all those receptions and stuff, I mean, he's awesome for that. That's a nice little hand
that ball right there. It's out in front of him and it's low.
Nice little hands catch. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know who 98 is, but it is number 98 that catches him. I mean, that's never great. You don't want 98 to catch you. But still a good catch, still got a first down, and that'll play at any level, even if he's not special. All right, Jake, let's go.
So, for anyone not watching this live, maybe listening to the podcast, for quarterbacks, when I'm looking at arm strength, I'm looking at opposite hash throws, for example, or outside the numbers throws. So let's say I'm on the right hash. I want to see a quarterback throw an out route outside the numbers, outside the left numbers. That tells me, what type of arm strength, what type of confidence.
There you go. You might get it. Oh, he was looking over there. Oh. He is really comfortable moving. Like you said, he's comfortable, functional mobility. He's comfortable, getting out of the pocket and still trying to find a play. There's a lot of throws that he's out of structure and still making plays. Now, you could look at that and say, does he need to stay in the pocket more? I don't know if I'm skilled enough of an evaluator to know exactly, what someone should do in the pocket. Oh, I wonder if that's going to be a fumble or a no. You'd like to see him make that tackle on a fumble. I think I don't think he caught it. I think we're going to keep the ball here for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, again, this is a team that you can get these three starters relatively late, and you might be down 60 when you go to bed and you're on the college side of your campus to Canton leagues, and and you wake up and you've won by 40.
Oh, I mean, Rivers is like routine 30 points in PPR, I think. And, this game for Haener he had 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Cropper with another end around. So you kind of like to see them use him in multiple ways, as a receiver. He was on pace for 1,000 receiving yards, but we just saw 2 kind of jet sweeps. I think that technically was a pop pass, so counts as a reception, but they use him in multiple ways, which I always like to see, dynamic, versatile weapons that teams want to use in different ways. Here he is in motion, but they hand it off to Rivers, and the middle was open because probably someone was shifting, trying to follow Cropper.
One reason they'll do a jet sweep with that method as opposed to handing it off is just because if he drops it, it's an incomplete pass as opposed to a fumble.
That's a good point. We got another fumble. A lot of turnovers in this game. That wasn't Haener's fault. He does have a quick little pop gun, not pop gun in a bad way, but he has like a quick little release that he'll just fire off these quick passes, that I like. I like guys that can just kind of shortstop it to their receivers.
I can't wait until we get, some of the more national evaluators looking at Jake Haener next season, just to see what they have to say, get a Mark Schofield or a JT O'Sullivan looking at him.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, again, he's not a track star, but like he does have some usable mobility to get little things and to not just, be a slug back there. I know, and we got the receipt here. We can just, when everyone's all excited about Haener as a sleeper next year, we'll be like, hey, we actually spent an hour on this guy last year. What you got? Oh, one hopped. You'd like to see him complete that, because that would have been a fun one, moving out on the run, if you could have fired that in there.
We've also seen him scramble to his right pretty much every time he scrambled.
Right,
so
yeah.
Not pay attention to how comfortable he is going to his left.
Okay. That was useful. Evaded a pretty free blitzer there to get some yards. Didn't get the first down, but a sack. All right. Let's get going. Utah State's going to have to punt. I know there's another touchdown in here, so definitely need to hang on for that. But is Rivers returning punts? Oh, no.
I think he's taking kickoffs back, but Ronnie Rivers, he's got him listed at 5'9", 195. I would say he's probably a little bit smaller than 5'9", but he's going to have the right BMI for the size. Not going to be an every down back at the NFL level, but again, just a competent overall player. Not as elusive as you would want. That would get you really excited, but he does a lot of things well.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been watching this game. I haven't been overly impressed with any individual plays that much, but on the bottom of the screen there, it just said he was 21 for 120. That's over 5 yards a carry. So he's not flashy, but he's getting useful yardage. He's obviously not getting stopped in the backfield too much. There's his backup breaking a tackle. Come on, is he getting ejected or something? Come on. All right. Oh, we got a fumbled snap. Here we go. 3rd and 11, Jake. What you got? 3rd and 11 on their own 35 or so. He's got time. Now he has to move around. Probably a holding call. And did he get the first? He technically got the first there on a kind of a wild scramble, but I think there's going to be a holding call. Something on the offense, yeah. They're going to decline it. So it's going to be 3rd and 21 now. But let's see. This is Haener moving around, and there's your hold. But some fairly nice mobility here. He evades that guy, and then he got 11 yards. I mean, he did get the first. But now it's 3rd and 21. on their own 25 or 6. And drops back. They're only rushing 3. Dumps it off to Rivers. Gets about 10 or so. Nothing too exciting there. There was just nothing going on. Here we go. 1st and 10 at their own 30. So after a stop, we got Rivers up the middle. I must have had a stop or a turnover or something.
I mean, I think in this game you kind of saw what all 3 players that we're excited about for this team, for this offense, what they can do with Jake Haener and Jalen Cropper. Kind of can take the top off of defense, can do some things after the catch, a little smaller, but kind of a sudden athlete. And then Haener can do things outside of structure, off platform, and Ronnie Rivers kind of stirs the drink.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice trio. And like you said, I mean, you've definitely illustrated it is these guys are going to be, essentially free even in the college side of a C2C draft. And then probably, shouldn't be on a Devy radar unless it's like a crazy deep. But certainly these guys, would potentially be, rookie picks. Probably you're not going to roster them on your Devy roster, but potentially, rookie picks once they're eligible in a Devy league because, you still have your rookie draft. And, if it's Superflex or 2QB, Haener might be a guy if he goes into the NFL draft and gets picked, that you do want to take a chance on, in the rookie draft. Cropper too. I mean, we'll see what he does next year, but he's had some wide open plays, but you like a guy who's dynamic and can get used in a lot of ways. And Cropper, here he is again. Oh, that's a nice pass. That's a nice pass. Just, he had a step on his man and he just touched it right over the shoulder. Beautiful. Let's see that replay.
I mean, you also want quarterbacks taking shots downfield. And we've seen a number of them, and we've seen Jake Haener connect on a lot of them. And this, can you rewind that so we can get the live shot on it one more time?
You want there's a back view or the normal broadcast view?
The normal broadcast view.
So this is they're on the 45. He's going to throw this from probably the 50-yard line. He threw it from the 47. Lands about
it's a long throw. I mean, he's throwing outside the left numbers. It's still, now I'm paying attention to this, how whether or not he's putting a lot of arc on the ball.
I mean, that's a beautiful ball.
Perfect pass.
Yeah.
So whatever his shortcomings may be, in that regard, he's found a way to make up for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful spiral. He definitely has a pretty ball. I mean, sometimes you see guys, they just don't quite, get that beautiful spiral that's super catchable, but I think he does routinely. Yeah. That's probably going to be it. Let's see. I don't think they're going to get the ball again. If they do, they'll just be kneeling it probably. Yeah, I think Utah State. I think we're done. All right. Let's see. Let's get off. Stop sharing. There he is. So that was fun, man. I mean, I think that's a fun offense. I think we definitely talked about that a lot, but I think you see a daring guy in Jake Haener. I like that. I like a guy who's going to take some risky throws, even if you miss, I want you to miss aggressive. And as a prospect, you want to see a guy who's at least trying, because as the cliche goes, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, I mean, I want to see a guy who's going to try. I think, and he can complete some of them, and we'll see. We may have growth. Like you said, that was his first year starting, and we may see some growth. I think I actually plotted Haener on our app, at Campus to Canton. via some quarterback metrics, and he actually scored better in his fourth year than like one of the Cars and some other Fresno State quarterback who was fairly good, at least in college. I don't think they have any other pro guys other than Trent Dilfer, but that was a million years ago. So I mean, he's tracking to be pretty good.
Yeah, I want to say that he broke the record for yards per game last season, passing yards per game, and was better than Derek Carr in that regard. He's a good player. He's a good college player. It's a tough year to have your first start, so I'm glad that that the NCAA gave everyone a waiver this year. We're going to see him at the very least for another year. We could potentially see him for 2 more years. But let's see. The 2022 quarterback class I don't think is very strong after the top 2. So you could see 2 quarterbacks taken and then not another one taken until the second round. And I've maintained that Jake Haener can be a day 2 quarterback, second or third round.
Look, if Daniel Jones can be a top 10 pick, like anybody can be picked anywhere. Like, all it takes one team to decide they like a guy, because Daniel Jones, I was looking at him today on our app. I think I sent it to our group text, and it's just he was a terrible prospect. Somebody fell in love with him though. And so all it takes, in the second round with the QB thirst out there, anything's on the table. And if he shows out again next year, throws for 4,000 yards or something like that, 30 touchdowns, he's going to be on radars for sure. So, all right. Well,
I agree with you.
I like the Fresno State. I think a lot of people who play on the college side are pretty familiar at this point with Nevada and Carson Strong, Dubes, Elijah Cooks. They got some running backs that are interesting. But there's another team in Mountain West who's sneaky, explosive, and that is Fresno State. So I'm glad I got a chance to watch that with you, and I will let you go. But thank you for this special edition live stream of Why Wait Till Sunday. We're going to also put this on the podcast if you'd like to listen. We are going to have this on the YouTube channel as well. So be sure and check it out. And whatever you're watching it as, be sure and subscribe. Be sure and like it. Leave a comment or whatever. That really helps us get bigger and keep doing this. And then also, please go visit Campus 2, that's the number 2, Canton.com. That's where Felix and I, live. We write articles over there. We have an amazing data app that I've been mentioning. Over 400 college players ranked, 300, I think, NFL players ranked. We've got everything you need from freshman year to NFL Canton. That's why it's Campus to Canton. So any kind of fantasy league you like, we've got something for you. Go ahead and check that out too. Felix, it's been a pleasure. Hope you have a great evening.
I made it.
You made it, bro. All right, bye.